Okay, so I bet you're wondering, why is this nerve-wracking? Okay, because it's just fitting downlights. Completely get it, not a problem. Downlights we're using are these little bad boys made by Bright Source. So they come with a, I'll show you, come with a little connector, so it's nice and easy. So why is it nerve-wracking? The reason behind all that is above my head is where the downlights are going to be. So this one here is actually a smoke alarm, because this is a new extension that's being built, and I haven't got any cables through, and I didn't do the map either. So that is why it's super stressful, because I don't know where everything is. And there is a map, but hopefully, fingers crossed, because since then it's been insulated, boarded, skimmed, all the rest of it. So it is generally the most stressful part of doing the downlights, is actually drilling through, because you don't want to be trashing this new lovely ceiling, do you? So it's all new, ready to go, and you don't want to be trashing that, because nothing more gets on people's nerves having to redo work. So that being said, let's go through all the kit, what you're going to need, how you're going to go about setting out, and hopefully, fingers crossed, I don't cock it all up and it all goes to plan. Okay, that being said, obviously we're going to need a load of downlights. So that's a given. There's various different ones you can choose. So you can go for GU10s if you wanted to, but we always use integrated LEDs. So downlights are downlights, yeah. One of the critical bits of kit for me is using a laser level, okay? You can use a string line if you want, or a chalk line. So that's a bit of an old school way of doing it. It's still effective, and from time to time I still do it. The reason why I liked using the laser level is because it doesn't leave any chalk lines and mess. So if this had already been painted, and luckily enough it hasn't, if it's already been painted, you don't want to do then is whack a chalk line all the way down. So obviously laser level comes in handy. It would help to have a hole saw, wouldn't it? So this is a 68mm, which is what the manufacturers specify for these particular downlights, but they're all roughly around 68, 70mm, 67mm, something like that. The other little cool invention is that it's a dade. So if you don't know what that is, I think it's a basically a dust eliminator. So the reason, what happens is that goes in there. As you're putting that up, that goes around the top of the ceiling, and it stops you getting absolutely mangled and covered in dust, especially if you've got a lath and plaster ceiling, so it's brilliant for that. Mine's a bit knackered, in fairness. I'd need a new one because I've caught it like an absolute spanner, so it's not great. And you're not going to be turning that hole saw around with your teeth, are you? So you're going to need a drill. A better quality drill is advisable, not essential, but advisable. And obviously, the other thing you're going to need is a set of steps. I mean, unless you're a giant or Nick Bundy, because he's massive, in fairness. I think he's about 7 foot tall, I believe. I think that's the official stats on him. So steps, obviously, and one of the best things I find for doing stripping cable for the downlights is those Knipex cutters. There's different manufacturers who do almost identical, which I dare say they're probably all made in the same place, but they are wicked for doing these. So that's pretty much the kit you're going to need for rattling through these downlights. So the next thing for me is to mark out. So I will start marking out. I'm going to have to look through this map and try and decipher where things are, and then we'll mark them up, and then we'll drill it all out together, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we get it right. It makes it a bit more complex, right? Because you've got, so on here, there's 75mm of insulation that's gone on, then there's plasterboard, then there's skim and all the rest of it. So, that being said, and if you, the problem is I can't show you, I'm gonna try, hold on. I'm gonna try and show you the drawing that I've got. Okay, so here goes. That's it. Whether you can decipher that. But that is my drawing. So as you can see, clear as mud. We've got loads of numbers, big fat pencils used, by the way, as well. I can tell that a mile off. So I marked it. So up here, so where this is here, I've got an X that X marks a spot, because I'm going to mark them all out. and then go for it. So I've basically got 4 downlights in this section on here. So there's 4 on here, and then essentially I've got 1 in the center. So I've got another 4 that goes around the perimeter of where the lantern is. So if you can see this way, so hopefully you can see it enough. So obviously the lantern's here, so I've got 4 that go around the outside. Okay, so that's what the idea is. We don't need too many because you've got the telly and stuff there. But yeah, so I mark these out, but this is a bit nerve-wracking, I'm going to be honest. Okay, moment of truth. So, all marked out. Hopefully, fingers crossed, but it's all good. So, we have got 1, 2, 3, 4 in this first bay, okay? And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, literally round the outside of that. So fingers crossed. So I've took into account the dot and dab and the plasterboard. So it's 25mm roughly. I've took that into account. I've took the insulation into account. So fingers crossed, and I'm going to film this because if it goes horribly wrong, I can go upstairs because the lads are upstairs, and we can go and tell them what's happened. In fact, we might do that anyway. But let's see. Let's see how it goes. Just like to point out, I genuinely am quite nervous. I don't know why I'm nervous, because I have faith in the lads. But I am nervous. Don't know about you, I feel a little bit on edge. Well, I didn't hit any wood. That's a good start. No cable that I can see. I can see it. It's there. Okay, so a little fisheroo on that one. So what I'll do is I'll speed this up just so you can, get the full picture. And there's just this last one, which was above your head. You don't want to get dust in your head, do you? While you're drinking your tea. Shot. So, I have got all of them bar 2 cables, okay? So I'm gonna go into the van, I'm gonna go and get a little gadget, and we're gonna fish those out. Okay, so the said gadget is, you guessed it, a super rod with a hook. You don't have to use these, but obviously it's what we use all the time, and they make us money. The reason why they make us money is because they're easy. They're easy to use, they get me out of so many jams. So if you haven't invested, you can go and do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and fish that out, and hopefully we can get it. Now, if you don't have a set of super rods, then firstly, shame on you. The other thing is you can use a bit of old cable. So you can use a bit of old cable, a bit of 10mm, something like that. So it's something that's fairly stiff, and you can then hook on like that and get it all sorted. So what I always try and do when doing the first fix on these is try and do it so I staple the cables very, very close to where I actually want them in line. So I've just got that little one left to do, and then we're all good to go. So not too bad. Okay, so we've got all these in, and I genuinely was nervous. I'm not going to lie to you. I was nervous looking at the quality of the drawings. Very, very nervous, but I shouldn't have doubted them. I was wrong to do so, but I can't help but go and wind him up. So let's go upstairs and go and wind him up. You right, Steve? Steve-o. All right.
Are we on camera?
Yeah. Lou, you know those measurements that, did you already take into account the plasterboard?
No, it weren't on there. I just put what you wrote in the thingy.
Because I've hit a couple of joists. Not really, Lou, not really. Got it all bang on. You should never have doubted yourself, mate. It was quality.
I thought the writing would have messed it up.
No, it's fine, mate. Absolutely bang on. I couldn't help myself. I know, it was bad, but I know there is another part of that. Is I'm the idiot, really, because I should really map them all myself, but I don't. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Depends on whether I'm in a rush and I need to get somewhere else, because I should never really doubt the lads. The lads are wicked at what they do. They genuinely are, and I love them all dearly. I just like having a bit of a laugh, a bit of a joke. But yeah, so I should really do the map myself, which I have done in the upstairs. But for some reason, I think I had to go off on a call out, and it was mid the way through and the lads had done it. So I couldn't help myself. So yeah, shame on me for taking and stressing Lou out. He got a big cuddle, it's fine. So yeah, so get on with mounting these up, get on with wiring all these up, and then I'll show you with the actual wiring process on one of these. And then that's pretty much it, ready to go. But in fairness, I'm chuffed that we've got all those, because I genuinely was a little bit nervous because I hadn't done the measurements, and it's been a little while since we've actually done this, because we concentrated on getting the loft conversion done, because the weather was really, really kind to us, and it was like, right, the crack on with that. I say we've been concentrating on that, the lads have been concentrating on that. I've been off doing a load of other electrical stuff. So yeah, so it's nice to actually be with the lads anyway. So right, let's get these fired on. So before I go too far, today's sponsor is Tradeify. So without Tradeify, we would definitely have got this particular job, because the level of detail that's needed on the quote for something of this size and for what the client wanted, there's absolutely no way. If I hadn't have used that, we definitely wouldn't be doing this job, basically. So those of you are thinking, what the hell is Tradeify? It's a job management software. So we use it for all our quoting, invoicing, job management. In that, what I mean by that is that because I do a lot more of the reactive work, it's going on, use all my scheduler and all that sort of stuff. Also, we can put lads in the right places at the right time. So if you want to give it a try, which is what we did, to be perfectly honest, we did that a couple of years ago now, and it's a 14-day free trial. The link will be in the description below. And when you realise how awesome it actually is, if you use the promo code GHAWK50, you'll get 50% off for the first 3 months. Like I say, we use it for everything. It really, really is a game changer for us in running the company. So thanks for today's sponsor, and that is Tradeify. So what I thought I'd do is I will show you how to wire these up. So they're not rocket science, but you'll be amazed on how many EICRs that I go to that haven't been installed correctly. So they're so if people are that lazy, it's an easy money maker. It really is, because you can drop, obviously when you're doing your inspections anyway, I always drop a couple of downlights or pop into the loft and have a look. I mean, not everyone does that, but that's what we do. And it's so easy to see that if the cables aren't in their enclosure. So what that means is that they've got none of the grey sheathing, is all got to be on the inside of the enclosure, not on the outside. And I'll show you exactly how to achieve that. It really isn't rocket science. So what we'll do is we'll use these. Okay, so you're peeling back to make them a little bit shorter. Okay, so you end up like that. Okay, so you can trim them down a tiny bit because they're a little bit long. So then your earth sleeve in, which is tiny. You don't need much. So you open it a tiny bit, slide that down, and obviously you gotta remember this is a bit weird doing it this way for me, but it's all usually above my head, which is like that one behind us. So you slide that down like there. So they're all prepped, ready to go. It isn't any trickier than that. There's no, trick tool for it. And then you've got, so on here you've got your live, neutral and earth, and then neutral, earth, live. That's how they've done these. And it's just literally, I'll try and do it that way for you. So put that in, and then the gist of it is that you push that one in. Usually you'll have to rotate one or the other. It's a bit awkward doing it this way, but whatever. And you push them down, and that is literally it. Okay, so you can see that the grey, there's no grey or singly insulated cable outside of that enclosure. There's nothing that's out there. And then the gist of it is that then you push that on, and also there's a little screw in there that you would screw on, and that'll hold that cover trim in place. Grab your downlight, that cheeky little fella, and then whack that on like that, tuck that into the ceiling, and obviously then making sure that you don't trap your wires with the retaining springs. And the good thing about this is obviously once you're doing the decorating, not me because I don't do decorating, you can literally just remove it, and obviously that will just be hanging out. Doesn't matter if you get paint on that, it's just a bit annoying, but it is what it is. And that is it, that's all it is. So how many jobs do you go to, question yourself that, where you've genuinely dropped down some of the downlights and seen that they're not done like that, are they? No. And how many times do we see all the CPCs are cut off? Quite a few, isn't it? So like I say, if it's like that, tell them. Say, look, you need to do it properly. It's the only way to do it. So just got this last one to do, and then we're all done. Boom, done. So nice and straightforward, but it was mega stressful at the start. And can you see why? Can you see why it was stressful? So 8 downlights fitted now, all wrapped up, ready to go. So it was stressful, but this is partly my fault. There, I said it, my fault. I should really do the maps like I've done upstairs, but again, I've explained why I don't sometimes, but like I say, we've got a fantastic team with us. So we all muck in and take care of each other. So hopefully you've enjoyed it. Leave your comments if you do something slightly different below, but whatever you're doing, look after yourselves and see you on the next one.